Hey everyone, welcome to the first video of this channel where I use my own voice. Today we're going to be talking about quantum computers and how it can affect our future. So do you ever feel like your phone is too slow? What if I told you there's basically a new kind of computer so powerful it makes today's computers look like ancient calculators? And I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about quantum computers, and today we're going to be diving deep into how these machines work. So stick around. Also, I have a special announcement at the end about a giveaway that I'm doing. Enjoy the video. What's the big deal with the quantum computers? Let's start with the basics. Your laptop, your phone, every digital device you own works with bits. A bit is like a tiny light switch. It can be either off, which we call a 0, or on, which we call a 1. All the amazing things your computer does, from streaming movies to connecting with friends, are all just complex combinations of these zeros and ones, so a binary system. A simple binary system that has powered our digital world for decades. But of course, as everything, it has its limits. Some problems, it's just too massive for them to handle. We're talking about things like designing new medicines, creating revolutionary materials, which I'll get more into later, and breaking complex encryption codes. But these problems have so many possible combinations that a classical computer would need billions of years to solve them. And that's where the quantum computers come in. So instead of bits, quantum computers use something called qubits. So that's Q-U-B-I-T. Now this is where things get a little weird and wonderful because of the rules of quantum mechanics, which often gets very complicated. Unlike a regular bit, that can only be 0 or 1 at a time, a qubit can be 0, a 1, or both at the same time. That sounds impossible, right? It's a very mind-bending property. It's called superposition. Think of it like a spinning coin. While it's in the air, it's spinning, it's not heads nor it's tails. It's in a state of both possibilities at once. So only when it lands, you would know it's either heads or tails, so we would know what state it is in. A qubit is like that spinning coin. It exists in a fuzzy, probabilistic state of both 0 and 1 until you measure it. Ability to hold multiple values at once is what gives quantum computers their incredible power. Let's imagine you're trying to find your way through a giant maze. A classical computer would try the path, hit a dead end, go back and try another, and so on and so forth until it solves the problem. It's very methodical, but however, compared to quantum computers, it's very slow. A quantum computer, thanks to its superposition element, can essentially explore all the path at the same time. So it's basically like having a bird's eye view of the entire maze where you can see the correct path much easier. So this parallel processing power is why quantum computers can tackle problems that are completely out of reach for classical machines. So with just a few hundred qubits, you could represent more possible values than there are atoms in the known universe, which is just insane to think about. So it's an impossible, unimaginable amount of information. But wait, there's another quantum trick which scientists use, and it's even stranger. So it's called entanglement. Basically, Einstein also called it spooky action at a distance. So when two qubits become entangled, their fates are linked, no matter how far apart they are. So they can be at the end of universe. So basically what it means is if you measure one bit and find it's a 0, you instantly know the other one is going to be 1 and vice versa. It's like having two of those spinning coins, but they're magically connected. So if one lands on head, without a doubt, the other one is 1. And it doesn't matter where they are. So this connection allows quantum computers to perform complex calculations and share information between qubits in a highly efficient and correlated way, adding another layer to their computational power on top of the superposition. So how do we actually build one of these? Well, it's not easy, and we are not the ones building it. These are highly sophisticated individuals, scientists, who've studied these things all their lives. Qubits are incredibly fragile. Any little disturbance from outside world, a tiny change in the temperature, stray magnetic field, even just looking at them the wrong way can disrupt the delicate state, the quantum state, and cause errors in their calculation. So it's called decoherence. But to prevent this, scientists have built extremely controlled environments. So quantum computers often look like a giant, futuristic chandeliers hanging inside a super refrigerator. So they need to be cooled down to temperatures colder than deep space, basically fractions above the absolute zero, which is minus 273 degrees Celsius or 0 Kelvin. So this extreme cold keeps the qubits stable and protected from the noisy outside world, allowing them to maintain their quantum properties long enough to perform the calculations we're giving them. So scientists use lasers, magnetic fields, and microwave pulses to precisely manipulate these qubits, setting them into a superposition, entangling them, and basically guiding them through a series of logical operations called quantum gates. So what can we currently do with these powers? The possibilities are revolutionary. So in medicine, quantum computers, we could simulate molecules with perfect accuracy, which would help us designing the new drugs. Therapies for diseases like Alzheimer's or cancer in a fraction of the time it takes today. So in material science, for example, we could invent new materials with incredible properties like room temperature superconductors that would enable almost lossless power grids and ultra-fast magnetic levitation trains. So they could also revolutionize artificial intelligence, creating much more powerful machine learning models. For finance, of course, we can optimize investment strategies and financial modeling in ways we can't ever imagine yet. That's why it's good for even in your science, in finance, and other things of life. Of course, there's always a flip side. A powerful quantum computer could potentially break the most of the encryption that we use today for our passwords, to protect our data, bank accounts, and government secrets. So that's why scientists are also working on developing new quantum-resistant encryption methods to keep our information safe in the coming quantum era, which is inevitable. Now, don't expect to have a quantum laptop on your desk anytime soon, of course. We're still in the very early days, so in comparison, I would say we're probably at the point where we were with classical computers in 1950s. The quantum computers we have today are big, expensive, and they can only handle a small number of qubits. So right now, these machines are used by researchers and large corporations for specific complex problems. But of course, the progress is very incredibly fast, exponential almost, and every year we're seeing more and more powerful and more stable machines being built. So while we won't be playing video games on a quantum PC in the near future, I think the impact of the technology would be immense, and it would have profound ways of affecting the world over the next decade. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but of course the quantum revolution is basically underway already. It's a lot to take in, but all I can say is it's a very exciting field of science and technology today, and it would be great to see what it will bring to humanity in the coming decades, I would say. And now I have the announcement. So I have been using this channel to provide people with information, and throughout my childhood I would love just learning about random things, just anything, genuinely, from ranging from, I don't know, dinosaurs to like space travel to plants and so on. And yeah, that's what pushed me into being a scientist in the first place. Now I just like sharing it with anybody that watches it, and I'm doing this as a hobby. But when we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'll be doing a giveaway. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked the video, of course. If not, then please feel free to let me know what I can improve on. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.